Good morning, everybody. Enter the stars, and thanks to the subscriber who asked me to take a second look at Jesus walking on water. This is amazing. Immediately, Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. This is the crowd down here. The disciples went ahead of Jesus. The 12, the remnant, went ahead of Jesus Christ along the Hyloid Canal, through the Sea of Galilee, through the water. This is where the remnant was. During the flood, we had the remnant of 8, Noah and his family. We also had the remnant of the Hebrew Israelites passing through the Red Sea. As Moses parted it, they went through the narrow gate as well. And in this Bible story of Jesus walking on water, he sends the disciples, the remnant, the 12, through the narrow gate across the lake. And after he dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. Here is the mountain right here. It is this trumpet-like bottom structure of the Hyloid Canal. This is the mountain right here. And the crowd is the multitude. It's all of the rest of us outside of the special remnant chosen to discover the secrets of the Bible, to try to share these secrets with the world. The crowd is everyone else looking out into the sinful world, trying to find their way to the truth. Now this gets even better. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from the land. So the boat keeps moving, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. And we know that when God created the earth, his spirit was above the surface of the waters. God's spirit is the vortex. It is the wind. And all of this goes back to water. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid." And when you translate this word, "it is I," from English back to Greek, you get something fascinating. You get what appears to be the word "I," like your eyeball in the Greek. And these are the things that you simply cannot make up. Jesus knew that the Greek word for "I" looks like the word for your eye in your head. As you see here, the only difference is this last letter is rotated back 90 degrees. Now, this gets better because as Jesus walked upon the surface of the waters, just like the Spirit of God was upon the surface of the waters, we begin to understand that this path, this narrow gate path that he passed through, the disciples, Jesus walking on water, we begin to understand that this path is shared by the human fetus who is in the womb for 40 weeks. This path was shared by the Israelites that went through their narrow gate for 40 years. This path was shared by Noah, who went through the water as well. 40 days and 40 nights it rained during the flood. And we begin to understand very clearly what this narrow gate really is. The remnant passing through in all instances. This is the truth, you guys. And it goes on. Peter was the one who wanted to cross. Lord, if it's you, Peter replied, tell me to come to you on the water. They thought it was a ghost. The Spirit. Come, he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and beginning to sink, cried out, Lord, save me. Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. You of little faith, he said, why do you doubt? And this is why we are all here, you guys, because our faith has increased because of this knowledge of understanding that all the truth about our world, our universe, God and his Son was encoded inside of our eye, and God chose us to understand this information, whether or not you choose to accept it. They climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, truly you are the Son of God. When they had crossed over, they landed at Gennesaret. And when the men of this place recognized Jesus, they sent word to the surrounding country. People brought all their sick to him and begged him to let the sick just touch the edge of his cloak. And all who touched it were healed. And we understand that Gennesaret, the place where he landed, is the place of paradise. And that is where we are all headed. The paradise of the eye. Back to the garden. Back to the rods and cones, the ganglion and the bipolar cells. Back to the grapes, the pomegranates, and the figs of the lining of the inside of your eye. The garden. As we escape the prison that we are trapped in. Take care and be safe, you guys.